new one, if you've got, I mean, that series has been everywhere, all over the place. It's had different timelines and everything. So what do you do? Do you pick up from what Rob Zombie did? No. Do you pick up from? I mean, I like Rob Zombies, but like, you just can't follow it because that's a totally different universe of style and tone and everything. Do you follow Part 6? Because can't really do that, or do you follow Resurrection, or where do you pick it up? So it's like, if you want to follow that universe, you have to follow that first film. And I think that's what they did. Rick Bride kind of talked about it being like Batman. You know, Batman's had different incarnations, and different artists writers take their turn on that. So it makes kind of perfect sense when you think about that. Because, I mean, I ran into the same thing when I did my fan film with Confession of Fred Krueger. The Nightmare on Elm Street series is just kind of crazy and changes, and nothing. They didn't worry about continuity. So making it all fit perfectly and make sense is like, focus on one movie, go back to the original, simplify it. I think that's what they did. They didn't paint themselves in corners. I think my dog's trying to.
I was gonna say either that or you have a ghost.
Or maybe Michael's back there, you know.
Oh no, he'd be busting that door down.
It's gonna turn into that part of the trailer with a closet door that keeps open.
I was gonna say, if I could, I'm glad they didn't do a clear-cut remake again. Like, that's one of the things I was worried about, was just getting another remake. I'm okay with them following the first movie and just kind of destroying what came before, because that, you know, the original timeline ended in 2002 with Resurrection, even though it's split into 2 ways anyway. So I'm kind of happy they're going with a sequel, a direct sequel to the original, and they were able to bring back Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis, which is nice to see. This is her 5th Halloween film?
She was in 1, 2, H2O, and Resurrection. Yeah, 5th film.
And she's played Laurie different in pretty much all the films, if you think about it.
Wasn't she the voice on the big speaker, the town speaker in Halloween 3?
No, today just
Was it? Or was that Adrienne Barbeau? No, that's from The Thing. I don't know. That's a good question.
Like, she was like talking. Anyway, not important. Go on. Not important.
The one thing I'm wondering about, and this is thinking ahead, is with Blumhouse taking over, are we going to see Michael Myers was 6 in 1963, right? So that means he was born in 57. So he's what, 61?
61. Yeah.
We're getting a new incarnation of Michael where he's popping leaves. He's not a spring chicken in this movie. He's walking. He's got arthritis. You know, he's aged. This is going to be a new.
He's arthritic.
He's
got bad knees.
I always joke that, you know, Dr. Loomis kept up with Michael at that age. You know,
that's true.
That's true. But I think I only got to see the trailer once. I saw it without sound, unfortunately. But to echo what, and also I want a side note, Nathan, I called you Thomas when I first came on here. I apologize. I meant to say your full name. I meant to say your full name.
My dad.
Yeah. I completely fucked that up. I'm half asleep. But what
that's when you know you're not actually well known, is when people are like, "Hey, Nathan Miller, you're awesome. I love you, dude." Nate Thomas. I get called Thomas a lot, man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're well known enough that I know your middle name. Like that's
it's like, pick one, Nate.
Because I actually don't know who you are, and I just completely fucking brain farted. But I agree with what you said, that it looks like an actual Halloween movie. Like that was the first thing I noticed. The aesthetic of it looks
like, even if you don't
like how guys. All right, this isn't a separate podcast with Lex Quinn and Wesley Southern on my bet, although that would make a great podcast. We're talking Halloween. All right.
Hi, Wesley.
All right, bring it down.
He hates Halloween. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Where's the towel?
No, she just got here. She didn't have time. I didn't even have time to take a shower yet. No, it actually looks like Haddonfield from the original, which is what she was just saying is true. I'm not a fan of the Halloween franchise in general. But I really love the aesthetic of it because it is like actually suburban Halloween. And I really respect what Halloween did. You know, brought horror to your backyard. Like, that's really cool. But the thing is, that kind of pissed me off, though. I like Halloween 2 a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about them just dismissing it, because I don't really understand what the point of that is plot-wise, though. It was like, it's just him killing more people. Like, what really does that affect? Because, I mean, he gets blown up at the end, but that never stops any of those guys. Like, I don't see why did they just pick it up? Like, why is he not just in the burn ward, like, 40 years later? Like, why ignore the second one? Like,
I think they want to ignore the fact that Michael and Laurie are brother and sister.
Yeah, they want to get rid of the sibling.
Was that in the original script, or was that in the
That's a Carpenter thing, isn't it?
He added that just, I guess, I mean, he was kind of forced to make Halloween 2. He didn't see any point in it. So I think just to give it a purpose.
But wasn't that in the novelization for the original script, though? They were brother and sister? I feel like someone just said that recently to me. I don't know if that's true.
But, I mean, he didn't have control of the book, I'm sure, either. The novel.
No, it was in the script, and that they just didn't film that part, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong.
Brother and sister, you get shot in both the eyeballs, and you blow yourself up with Dr. Loomis. You don't come back out with 20/20 vision, and Dr. Loomis comes out as Tony Montana. It just doesn't make any sense.
Granted, okay, I see where you're going, Brian, but he also was decapitated, and that didn't stop him.
Yeah, the continuity is crazy.
I mean, like this movie does look really cool, but I mean, I don't need them to retcon something for me to believe that there's another Michael Myers movie. I think they could have just made another one. It would have been just as cool, personally. But that doesn't really have anything to do with this new movie. So, you know, it's whatever. But no, it looked neat. I like the lighting. I like the weird kind of bluish look. I think the mask looks pretty neat too. I like the rotted look. I know it's been a big controversy I've seen online.
The weathered look.
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks neat.
I want to weigh in on just one of the negatives that I initially felt watching the trailer. It was like, why is Laurie Strode making it her life's mission to kill Michael for 40 years?
Oh, I don't know about that, because she obviously moved on at some point because she had a kid. She's a grandparent. You know, maybe as she's getting older and more wily, I don't know. You know, maybe
that part just felt weird, because she's like, she knows he's institutionalized, but
I kind of wonder how, like,
the first time.
I think it's a
time with Dr. Loomis after in this version, and maybe Dr. Loomis got to her or something. I don't know.
I know
it kind of reminds me of like the librarian who tells you to shush.
I mean, I know I'm playing devil's advocate over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but still, it's like it felt weird, I guess, that whole part of it.
I'm sure they'll go into it.
I think those are just bullet points. I think she's just like a weekend warrior survivalist type, and that's what we're seeing. That's where she. But I don't think she's like 24/7 talking about, I got to find Michael Myers, I got to kill him, I got to go. I think it's more
Tommy Jarvis, like she's like, this is my mission now.
Like, I dropped the kids off and I'm gonna go shoot mannequins at my.
I'm gonna dig up Dr. Loomis and revive him with lightning.
That's possible. Wasn't Laurie Strode in H2O the same way? She was like, I'm ready for this. Like, or was that more like PTSD?
She was running in H2O. She was not facing it. She was running away from it. This one, she's kind of Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2. She's
okay. So it's kind of like Barbara in the Savini remake of Night of the Living Dead. Like, flopped her a little bit.
She's dealing with the situation. Yeah. I think I was gonna say I don't know. I wonder if that's the actual house she lives in. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but obviously there's just a short scene with Judy Greer. You know, you see that her family is well adjusted.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I wonder if Laurie's husband's gone, and after you lose someone you're with for a long, so this is 40 years later, maybe she started going more and more over the edge and felt more insecure. I mean, we don't know. There's 40 years that's gone by between each movie, so I wonder if they're going to even address any of that stuff or just roll into it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some comments on the Facebook if anybody wants to jump into some of these. Joe Ridgely actually said it reminds me of Terminator 2 a little, which goes back to whoever said Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor.
Yeah, a lot of comments. Alexander Orr says it looks amazing. Thank you. Frankie Carter says for sure. I'm pretty sure that happened a long time ago when we were in Subtopic. But thank you, Frankie Carter. Lonnie Reimer, winner of one of our Friday the 13th masks, huge fan of the Horror Syndicate, says, I just want a sequel to 3. I want to know what happened to those damn masks. It would nice to see a fan film with like an apocalypse, and you find out that the apocalypse was caused due to the silver shamrock epidemic.
That would be amazing.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, because you have to think, Tom did not get to every news station with those masks.
There was only 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for everyone who was watching Fox.
Nationwide. They made it seem like it was worldwide, right?
Frankie Carter, some people with mental illness are physically ripped. My brother works at a mental health in Chester, and he said some of the inmates are jacked, like the bodybuilders, but haven't touched a weight. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I'll see
I'm for that right here.
Jacked.
Corey Thompson wants to know, why do you have 2 straws?
Oh, me? Because I'm 6. No, my daughter is sharing Dr. Pepper with me. She has a straw and I have a straw.
Nice.
A can of Dr. Pepper.
Hi, Corey.
Corey's another huge fan of the Horror Syndicate, so shout out to
Thanks for noticing that, by the way.
But 2 is the lucky number of the day for Halloween 2, the official Halloween 2. Mike Myers not having 2 eyes, but apparently being able to see in 4, 5, 6, H2O, and Resurrection. Yeah. And 2 for our topics of the night, which we will get into Suspiria later on. But yeah, no, I am really stoked to see what's going to happen with this new Halloween. Like, is it just called Halloween? Is that the title, or is there going to be a subtitle to it?
It's Halloween with an S.
Halloween's. Does it take place on Halloween? That's the other question.
Oh shit! They didn't really address that in the trailer at all. Well, I guess there's kids trick or treating. Like, it probably takes place at least in October, I'd hope. Like,
I missed that.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Easter Sunday.
Critters.
Well, I mean, it's like at the maximum security mental health facility. They're like, well, if there's one day of the year we can let our guard down, it's certainly the 31st.
Well, yeah, that's funny because right around them. Why would you do that?
I was gonna one up you and say why is the play yard a giant checkerboard? Do they actually have the inmates play like checkers?
No, didn't you see? You didn't read the.
Is that why they escaped?
Synopsis? You didn't read the official synopsis. Michael Myers has been repurposed as one of those living chessboards.
Oh, okay.
His rehabilitation. That's why he went crazy again.
No, they're the escape.
That was in the novelization as well, I believe.
The guy in the wheelchair was really excited about the game.
Yeah.
Well, he's a rock. He's a rock. He can only move forward and
he doesn't have to like stand waiting for his next turn. He can just sit down the entire time. That's how you live.
Okay. Did anybody else think the guy handing Michael Myers the mask or showing the mask looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi? I looked at him. The first thing I saw, I was like, that looks like Ewan McGregor from Episode 2 of Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Am I the only one that?
Wait, is this a shared universe? Is that canon?
I'm wondering if Obi-Wan's just fucking up all over the place.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that guy gets his fucking ass killed, considering that he has a mask in one scene, and then the rest of the trailer, Mike Myers has that mask. So I just want to play it safe and say that dude gets the shit killed out of him.
Or that guy is Mike Myers, and that's the twist. That it's actually a copycat, like in Friday 5, like we were just talking about.
Ooh, what a twist!
Maybe Michael Myers saves them at the end. He kills, or this whole movie could end up being like an allegory for gun safety. Like Laurie Strode's is like a survivalist, and she starts shooting people that are in poor taste, dressing like Michael Myers for Halloween. And there's a shot where she shoots through the window, and it actually might just be an innocent person, and then it just causes a big panic. You don't know. I mean, these are
Mike Myers.
We may have an army of Mike Myers being taken down by Laurie Strode.
It's true. It could be like Scream 2 in the movie theater. That whole scene, right? You know where they're
evil.
Was that Scream 3? I can't remember. It's been a while.
Those two.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I never had anything.
I don't know. Regardless of how Mike feels, I'm excited. It brought more excitement than any other thing I've seen from Halloween ever, because I saw. I mean, I said it on I did a live feed earlier. I saw the Curse of Michael Myers in the theater in '95, and that was my first experience of seeing Halloween. And I remember getting marginally excited about H2O, and not excited. I was actually excited about Resurrection until I saw it, but I never was really excited about the Rob Zombie movies because I always thought he should do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He did twice.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just saying, if there were a movie for him to remake, it should have been Texas Chainsaw, but not Halloween, because that technically made it feel more like Texas Chainsaw. Anyway, so this movie got me really excited because it may be the same thing. Somebody said it's The Force Awakens but Halloween. If anybody goes, it's Star Wars, The Force Awakens, because it's going to be very similar to the original, probably just based on the trailer, the same cadence or whatever. But I don't know. It still looks pretty awesome. I'm gonna switch hats.
There you go.
You're a man who wears many hats, right? I've always thought that, so now it makes a lot of sense.
Man with many hats.
So we're completely ignoring Halloween 4, 5, and Curse of Mike Myers. What was the name of that group, that like satanic group that they were
Thorn.
like? Was it the Thorn?
The Black Thorn or something like that?
Thank God we're getting rid of that storyline. That storyline pissed me off. I don't know. I know the rest of you guys here are in love with the Halloween franchise, but Halloween 2 was probably my favorite sequel, and that's not saying a whole lot. I wasn't really a huge fan of Halloween 2, only because it seemed like they made Mike Myers more of like it seemed like they made him more supernatural. Like he still wasn't human.
More like Jason.
Yeah, more like Jason. But the first Halloween movie, what worked with that was that he was just a man with a mask, and he was stalking you, and it was a slow burn, and he wasn't like this powerful entity. He was just this man who escaped the war, drove a car. So if there's going to be any horror villain out there who's going to be a great getaway driver, it's going to be Mike Myers, because he's got experience.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, because people are complaining about that too. They're like, "When the hell did he learn how to drive a car?" As a 30-year-old man, just learned how to drive a car recently. I can tell you that's a horror movie in of itself.
Take it from him, yeah.
Maybe this is a prequel about him trying to go to the DMV, and that's what caused him to snap.
Nathan, step in on this one.
Yeah, Nathan, you posted something about people were talking about why is he driving?
Well, he drove.
Yeah, when I went saw H2O in the theater, there was a guy behind me when Michael gets in Joseph Gordon-Levitt's car and drives away. He's like, "Oh yeah, what, Michael can suddenly drive." And I said, I wish I could go back in time and just jump up and go, "He was doing very well last night.
Yeah,
around here, give him lessons." You know?
He drives in every movie.
Yeah, it's like, dude, he drove through half the first movie.
Haddonfield and Phoenix were over 4 hours away.
If Mike Myers survives this movie, he should be an Uber driver. That's how fucking good of a driver he is.
And he's really good on gas mileage because he got.
Better give him 5 stars too.
It's a new generation. He probably drives a Prius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He probably
Has a
drives
hybrid.
Prius now.
Can't confirm. I saw a leaked screener. He has a hybrid.
It's a hybrid. He wants to make sure he's taking care of the environment.
Well, he also
before he kills innocent people.
This would make a lot more sense too if like Haddonfield was in New Jersey, so he didn't have to pump his own gas, but he could just murder the attendant after they fill up his tank. Otherwise, he's got to like pay for it beforehand. He's like trying to use the card machine, and he's been institutionalized for 40 years. He's not going to use one of those things.
really do prepay.
He just keeps. He's like, "Do you want a receipt?" He keeps punching the fuck. He puts a butcher knife through the thing. It's like, what the hell?
No, I don't want a car wash.
No, I don't.
The guy starts doing the windows. He's like, no, don't. Just yes, just
He stops at a Wawa and gets himself a fucking shorty before killing everyone in the deli.
Well, so there's a real thing too. What does he eat on these car trips? Like
Trail mix.
what does he got? Like
Trail
what
mix, yeah.
Mike Myers eat, especially with that mask on? Does he drive without the mask?
That candy corn.
Yeah, he is. Because if he's driving with the mask on, then the police will pull him over. That's an obstruction.
Well, it's Halloween. I drove around with a Batman mask on once. It was really fun.
You were solving crime. That's different.
That's
right?
true. That's true. And I was in a Batmobile.
Commissioner thanks you for your service.
That's true. I've driven around with my Jason mask on too before, though. So I don't know. People just. There was one time we went to McDonald's and I had an Anakin Skywalker mask from Star Wars, and my buddy put it on. He was in the seat next to me, and he put his arms like this. And the girl looks. She's like, "What's going on there?" I was like, "My brother's crazy." It was pretty funny. He's just wearing an Anakin mask. It had like a blank face. It was perfect. But anyway,
I put on this weird like raincoat thing, and I go to McDonald's, but never mind. That's a whole nother story. You guys don't want to do that.
Saturday
Does
night.
it involve the back dumpster? I don't want to know.
Right. I wish I could retcon that particular.
So we got a couple more questions here. A couple more things. Brandon Michael Essert says, so her son never happened. Nope, that's gone. Joe Ridgely says him dropping the teeth was pretty badass.
That was fucking cool. I like that.
That was cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Could you imagine if he got into a car accident? If you got in a car accident with Michael Myers? Yeah. I wanted to know more about the Thorn.
What insurance would Mike Myers have? Allstate?
No, probably Progressive. I feel like.
I don't know. He's a pretty safe driver, and they have safe driver bonuses with Allstate.
Well, no. What if they caught him because of that little camera that teaches him if you're a good driver or not, and they just see him in the middle of his murder spree? He keeps getting back in the car to drive to the next house. That's how they catch him.
Does his car have a startup breathalyzer?
Awesome. Shit, I have to go, guys. I'm so sorry to drop out of this. So
Okay, enjoy the movie.
Incredibly insightful and witty things for the next hour and a half. Thomas, it was great seeing you again. really good. I feel like such an ass for that. I'm really sorry. I hate you.
Yeah. Take you later. I'll see you later, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. I'll talk to you guys later, Bill.
All right.
Whatever the fuck your names are. Have fun, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Miguel.
Bye, Montana.
Big Montana. That's my nickname in high school.
Apparently, Lonnie Reimer says apparently you can't poop in peace around Michael Myers. That's apparently true. As Ken Foray found out. So Lonnie's watching. We got anything to say to Lonnie? Anybody?
Hey, Lonnie. Thanks for watching, man.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Come on.
Brandon Michael Essert. Does no one read the comments?
I just read all of his comments.
Okay.
I hope he's still there. Brandon's still there. Let us know.
Yes, please let us know.
We don't want to cut anybody off while they're talking. That's why we don't read them like immediately. So, do you want to go to Suspiria while Thomas is here?
It's up to you guys. If you guys want to,
we can come back to Halloween.
Sure,
Nate, I know he's got to leave in like what 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, so jump into some Suspiria for a little bit and go back to Halloween for a bit if you want.
That works for me.
yeah. So we got hit with another trailer, everybody. The remake of Dario Argento's Suspiria is coming out with Dakota Johnson, Chloe Moretz Grace, Tilda Swinton, and I believe Jessica Harper is coming back as well.
Yeah, cameo.
Really?
I don't know what part she's going to play. I don't know if she's going to be Helena Marcos. I don't know. But, yeah, Suspiria. Let's get into it. Nathan, you saw the trailer. Or are you a big Dario Argento fan? Because I know that you post a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I've never been a huge fan of his. I like some of his movies. I like Deep Red. I like, a few others. I like Suspiria. It's just so. This is a weird. I mean, Suspiria is so visual. It's such a art film. Like, what is so strong about it is his vision, his personal vision, and the music. It's not like the thing you think. Like, you can't just remake it because it's not really the story that's keying there. It's the way it was made. But what I like about what I saw in the trailer was that it doesn't look like Dario Argento's movie. It doesn't have that lighting. Doesn't have
it's much more darker.
Yeah, it looks more like. I mean, it definitely looks visionary and artistic. I think it looks like a good film. I don't think it's, and I like that. I like that it's going to be its own thing. But that was the thing. Like I popped in Suspiria again today. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, it's such a precise Dario Argento thing. Like it's not like you're just retelling a story. It's style and taste and vision that makes Suspiria what it is. And it's kind of like it's not the kind of it's like repainting a painting. It's kind of thing. You can tell a story in a different way, but to copy somebody else's painting kind of thing is just so weird. That makes sense. It's just more of a work of art.
It does make sense because I mean Argento's version was so colorful.
It's like a beautiful, like the art direction, everything about it. It's just so. It's like you're in another world. You're in a dream. You're in a nightmare. You're in the way I was thinking about today. It's almost like progressive rock in some way because it's like the editing and the soundtrack pops in and pops out and things. It feels like experimental. It doesn't feel like it, it's like every other film. It's just its own thing. So it'll be interesting. I think that the trailer looks very promising. You got an Oscar-nominated filmmaker there. I guess I don't know if he was. Still haven't seen his last movie for Oscar yet. But what I like about that is one thing that's missing from horror now is when big filmmakers tackle horror, like when Stanley Kubrick would do The Shining, or De Palma would do Carrie, or Friedkin would do The Exorcist. We don't get that anymore. Where you have big Oscar type directors making horror films, and so and with this cast with Tilda and all that. I mean, you've got a stellar cast, so. I'm sure it'll be hated like everything else, but I want to check it out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you because when we have directors who aren't really horror directors, like you said, Stanley Kubrick, like he directed probably one of the best horror movies of all time, even though it's hated by the author himself. And you have like you said, Brian De Palma directing Carrie, which is Brian De Palma mostly does like a neo-noir type genre with his movies. And
he was already in
that cut out. What did you say, Nathan?
Oh, I said he's Brian's kind of in that area because he's very much a Hitchcock guy. Everything he does, especially early on, were Hitchcockian. But yeah, Carrie was a straight up horror film. But that's the thing. Like I brought this up a while back. People were attacking modern horror. And I said, when we look at the classics, the things that we really feel are the best movies, a lot of them were made by the best directors of that time, Alfred Hitchcock, William Friedkin, Stanley Kubrick, all that. And they were also based on novels.
Yeah.
Most of the great classics. So we don't see that much anymore. We don't see great novels being adapted to film and by the best filmmakers of the time. And that's what we had in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. And so I like to see somebody like Darren making Mother, which I really liked Mother.
Oh yeah, that was a really good fucking movie.
I need to finish that. I just bought it.
I loved Mother. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I loved it. I thought it was fucking brutal.
Thematically speaking, I thought it was one of the most freshest movies I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm. I haven't even finished watching it yet. I bought it this week, so I plan on finish watching it. The one thing I wanted to go back to in Suspiria was one of the things that I've always loved is the soundtrack from Goblin. I mean, that's something I mentioned to Jared, I believe earlier, was like, I hope they. I don't want them to do what they did in the movie, because they hit you with that theme immediately at the beginning of the film in the original, and then You know, you hear it throughout the film or whatever, but I hope they somehow are able to bring that back into the movie, but not like the same way, you know, like remix it a different way. And I don't know, that's one of my biggest things about, one of my favorite things about that movie is the sound. And it's the thing I like about the trailer. And again, we're talking about trailers, so it's hard to judge the full movie based on a trailer, but the trailer, the whole time I watched it, and the second time I watched it, and the third time, it's so fucking tense.
Yeah.
Tension. It's like, and then today, I watched it right before the show again. I noticed it earlier. Somebody was flipping through a book, and I paused it right when they were flipping the page, and I noticed that it has the other all three mothers listed. And I'm a big fan of all three of the movies, even the Mother of Tears. And that right away, just chills, goosebumps went through my body, thinking, oh God, could they possibly remake Inferno and do Mother of Tears all within the same time period? Because I think Mother of Tears came out in 2007. I think that's why it suffered, because it came out 27 years after Inferno.
Almost 30 years after Inferno.
Yeah, I love Inferno. That's the problem over Suspiria. But I don't know. I was really excited. The trailer looked great to me. It was so goddamn intense. I hope the whole movie's that way. You know, I hope the whole tone and feel of the movie is tension.
I really like the music, and isn't Tom York from Radiohead the composer on that?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
I really hope he does incorporate something from Goblin's original score, though. That would be really cool.
I was about to say, like, the reprise of the Suspiria theme. That would be fucking stellar. You know,
I was gonna say, Lonnie says as long as it lit Michael Bailey's Horror Alone, will be okay.
I'm a huge Claudia Simonetti Goblin fan. So for my birthday, my brother got me some vinyl records.
Oh, that's
original
pretty.
Suspiria.
Ooh.
And
that is pretty.
Of course, it opens up. It's all in Italian. This is an import. So I'm very excited for this. It sounds fucking gorgeous. And then of course I have the Profondo Rosso Deep Red on vinyl. This is the original vinyl itself.
It's another good score.
I don't know if it opens up, but I think, you know, part of what Nathan was saying, it's, you know, when a director makes a movie and you know, and you have this amazing soundtrack, and the you know, the director's vision, when you have a beautiful movie with a beautiful soundtrack, that's what makes it. Like, you could have, and a lot of people didn't like the plot of Suspiria, the original one. It's kind of hard to follow. If you're not really paying attention with subtitles. This is another one I have, Goblin Notturno. I've never heard of this movie or anything like that, but apparently it's like a drama. And then there's La Via della Droga, which I've never heard of either, but I still have yet to listen to them. Some nudity on the back, but yay for nudity. And then I got Demons, which this is new. And it's got some an art booklet in there, and the vinyl itself is blue. But when you have a movie that sounds beautiful and looks beautiful, you know, a lot of times people don't focus on the plot. It becomes like an instant cult classic.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, but
I'd like to weigh in a little bit.
Go for it.
I wanted to piggyback a little bit on what Nathan was talking about, because I mean, a lot of those Italian films were shot in Technicolor when Technicolor was dying out, and that was like the main thing that drove that movie, was just the red pops and the blue pops, and like every scene seemed to be thematically colorized. Like when there was sadness, there was blue in the scenes, and when there was blood, there was red in the scenes. Like that entire film was colorized.
Deep red.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears. They actually kind of like copied that idea where like every scene has a different color to kind of like thematically set the stage. But watching the trailer, this new felt like dirty. It felt dark, which kind of
opposite.
Argento's version was very, very beautiful looking, like Nathan was saying, but it's like everything is just, it felt gritty. And then you see Chloe Moretz, what I don't know her full name.
Grace Moretz.
She was like hiding in the alleyway, like completely disheveled and like, you're like, what the fuck is she doing? Like,
well, hold on now. That's the question I've got. Is she the girl from the beginning that's trying to escape?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name's really low in the cast credits, so I'm guessing it's a cameo kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 Like you said, if they were to mimic his style with this film, then it just wouldn't be it'd be pointless because it's trying to copy some. So the fact that they didn't, I dig. I did see a little accent color in the trailer and a few shots, but to just copy what he did would be pointless. To copy what Goblin, and that's the funny thing about this movie is like, why remake Suspiria when it's kind of like trying to remake Carnival Souls in some ways, where like it's just, even though they did that, you know, it's just it's not. It's this work of art. It's like recreating or redoing Eraserhead.
Oh yeah, totally.
So you need that film and that composers. I don't know, but I think it looks good myself. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not the biggest Suspiria fan anyway. But I admire it for what it was as a. It's just so gorgeous looking. It's just the art direction and the choices and the lighting. It's just God. It's like every frame. It's what cinema's supposed to be. Every frame was a painting to him. You can tell. Have you thought about it?
Have you got the chance to watch the new Synapse Blu-ray? Because it adds to that. It's transferred in 4K.
Yeah,
and
4K.
It sounds amazing. The new Synapse Blu-ray is totally worth the money. One thing I wanted to mention about these two movies, these two trailers, is I don't see horror movies in the theater very often, and these two I'm ready to go see. I'm ready to sit there with popcorn and watch these two movies because they brought me back into wanting to, like, I want to go see them really badly. Like, as in, I want to go see Star Wars really badly because I always see Star Wars movies no matter what in the theater. And now these two, I'm ready to go to the theater and watch them multiple times probably. So, anyway,
I wanna pose a question before you shove out, Nathan. I'm assuming you're probably leaning towards Halloween, but based off of the two trailers, which movie is exciting to you more? And this goes for everybody too.
As a film guy, I'd probably, if I didn't know what Halloween or Suspiria was going into this, I'd probably be excited more about Suspiria just because it looks more intriguing and more creative and more, you know, just more interesting. Whereas Halloween, it's another slasher movie, and that's how I kind of felt with the Halloween. I hate, as much as I love Halloween and Friday the 13th and all that, I just don't see it where a guy in a mask who doesn't talk, killing people off can go. I think it's that, but because of my heart's in Halloween, I'm really excited to see Halloween over Suspiria because my heart isn't with Suspiria. But if you were just wiping away the history of it, I would go, oh, another slasher movie or this really interesting horror film over here. You know, that's going to be really incredible and be an experience, like, you know. So yeah, if we just wiped the slate clean, I'd be more. But just being a Halloween nerd, Halloween is tied with Nightmare as my favorite horror film. So I'm seeing this trailer and I'm like, that's the Halloween I remember. That's the Halloween that I've waited for the last 30 years to come back because I haven't loved, like, with all my heart since Halloween 4 of the series. I liked Rob Zombie's take. I liked H2O kind of, you know, but this one looks like I kind of feel like this is my top 4 of all time kind of situation as far as the franchise goes. So I'm excited about it because I think we got a good filmmaker here. I really liked Mud and a few other. I love Pineapple Express. I think Pineapple Express is great. Great movie. And I admire Danny McBride, and I think the guy. What I've read about him, I see a lot of myself in Danny. He's apparently he's a little introvert and shy, and he got into film because he wanted to be a screenwriter, and his screenplays were all horror or fantasy based when he started out. He just kind of fell in film school with some comedy guys, and that's how he fell into that. But to me, this looks like they're kind of doing what they wanted to do when they were younger. And I could see that in that trailer. I can see the love and the knowledge of Halloween in there. It's got all the little details. Even in just a short trailer, I see fans, unlike we've seen in a few other remakes and things where they get Samuel Bayer, who could care less about Nightmare, to direct a remake. I think Danny and David are fans of the series, and excited, and Jamie Lee to come back, because I think Jamie Lee was very sour, of course, after Resurrection. So I think they've done something that got them excited to get back on board with it, and to get Nick Castle back and all that in some way. I think they've done something special. And Jason Blumhouse is just kicking ass, man. That guy's owning the job.
He's on fire right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's doing it right. He understands the genre. He understands what to do. He's doing it cost effectively. He's getting the right talented people, and
they're making tons of money.
I've liked most everything they've done.
Yeah, I'll agree with that too.
I would have loved a bit of fly on the wall for the production of Halloween. They would have to pay me. Just give me like a lifetime supply of Activia, and like I would be fucking set. That would be my thing. Like, because I'm really stoked. I love the first Halloween. The first Halloween and the third Halloween are like my favorite, in my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. But the Halloween franchise is not my favorite franchise of all time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it does.
Absolutely.
So to go on to my question, what are you more excited about, Brian? Suspiria or Halloween?
That's hard. It's like Sophie's Choice. It's two movies that I knew that was going to get a lot of hype. So I love Suspiria. I love the original Suspiria, and I love the original Halloween. The fact that one's a reboot and the other one is a sequel, ignoring the franchise that I do not like at all. I don't know. Like,
it is a tough question.
I'm pretty excited for the Halloween movie, and that has to go along. And I'm not saying I'm not excited for Suspiria. I'm fucking stoked for Suspiria. But the new Halloween movie, you got Danny McBride writing it. Danny McBride is one of my favorite people in the A-list of Hollywood, from his work with Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals and Pineapple Express and Alien Covenant. And it's just, seeing him make a horror movie that when you watch the trailer, there's no comedy in it. It's a full-blown horror movie that resembles the very first 1978 Halloween movie, with Haddonfield, with Terror of Halloween, and then you see, like, they went up to John Carpenter, him and David Gordon Green. They went up to John Carpenter and said, "We have this awesome idea for a story." And John Carpenter usually signs as executive producer for the money. But something clicked with John Carpenter for him to say, "I want to produce, I want to be the producer of this movie, but I also want to do the score for this movie." Like, he wanted to be more than a fly on the wall. He wanted to be a fucking spider in that web.
He just didn't want a paycheck. He wanted to be involved.
Yeah, and I'm all for the Suspiria reboot. I think it looks fantastic. I love the fact that Dakota Johnson had to seek therapy after shooting the movie, and she did 3 Shades of Grey movie, and she didn't need therapy for that. But
she didn't need therapy for those. Holy Christmas!
Tilda Swinton is a flawless fucking actor. Everything she does is amazing. And I mean that with all my heart. She's definitely one of the best female actors of all time. And
character actor, I love her.
Yeah. There's 99% of me wants to see Halloween, and 98% of me wants to see Suspiria. If that makes any mathematical sense, probably fucking doesn't, but That's what I have.
You made good points for both films, man. I like it.
I tried. I also been drinking.
What about you?
Me?
You broke up. You broke up,
I
Jared.
think he's asking what about me. The Halloween movie trailer gave me chills. I was very excited to see it, and it kind of took me back to my roots of horror. I don't make horror movies or anything, but I grew up watching Nightmare and Halloween more than anything. I, of course, grew up on Friday the 13th, but I always had a copy of Halloween and a copy of Nightmare on Elm Street, always. And I actually had to buy extras because the tapes wore out back then. So, it felt like Halloween. But the thing is, if I had to, again, take myself out of seeing all these, if I had to, well, just like Nathan said, if I had to, Suspiria, I have no clue what's going on in that trailer, but it's so tense that I got to know. And so I would say Suspiria is more intriguing to me. Where Halloween, like I said, like other people have said, it's just by the numbers. They could be going by the numbers, and it's a sequel. Or not, well, it is a sequel, a remake sequel, whatever. And then, Suspiria is a remake. And if I've never seen Suspiria and seeing that trailer, it's like, I have no clue what's going on, but I'm really intrigued. So I would say Suspiria. They both look great. I'm going to absolutely go see both.
I know it's a hard question, but yeah, I agree with you, Ray. I'm leaning towards Suspiria because I know there's so much unknown going into what that guy did, because he's an Academy Award or not. He was Academy nominated director, and he could bring something totally different to the movie.
Yeah.
And just based off of what was it, like a minute and 30 seconds of a teaser, like you said, it was completely tense the entire time.
And please don't release another trailer. Just let us have that. Yeah, just let us have that. Same thing with Halloween. I don't want to see another trailer, another teaser. I want it to be left alone. It's I'm good. But they did a 10-second thing for Halloween, for a teaser for the teaser on Thursday, and I was like, that's good enough for me. After I saw that, I was like, I'm good. I want to see it. I'm sold. I'm tired of. I went through this whole tirade with my brother-in-law yesterday about how tired I am of trailers ruining everything, and now it's like we've got these 2-minute trailers or whatever, and that's it. I don't want any more. Don't give me 6 trailers like Avengers or whatever. I'm good.
Here's the second trailer. Here's the third trailer. Here's the fourth trailer.
Well, now they have teaser trailer 1, teaser trailer 2, the real trailer, the the European version. There's so many trailers now. These are perfect to get people interested in what they are.
And they don't need to do anything else.
No,
those are my favorite. I love international trailers because it's in a different language and it shows scenes that you didn't get in the American release. Like, I fucking live for those. Like, don't give us more American trailers. Give us the international trailer.
They've already got my money. Well, they don't have it yet, but they're gonna have my money. And Reynolds, my son, 9 years old, I showed him, I was like, hey, there's a new Halloween trailer. He's like, can we get tickets to see this? I'm like, absolutely. I was like, as long as you don't get scared like when you saw it last year. I don't want to leave in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, Suspiria is the giant leap from Call Me By Your Name. One movie has to do with, a man having a relationship with, a man who just became of age, and the other one's about fucking witches. So completely different movies, which I am so If none of you have seen Suspiria, I think I may have given away the spoiler. Yeah, it's about witches.
Oh man!
The old theme song for the original movie, if you ever look that up, they say "witch" in the song. They're like "witch."
I think they say it in the trailer too for the new Suspiria. I think they're like "witch." Yeah, I don't know. I think I heard it. Which
as part of me is like, I saw people complaining about the end of the Halloween trailer where we see the closet gag and it's given away, which it does. I'm like, do you know they did the same thing in the original Halloween trailer where when Bob gets killed? They showed that scene. So, yeah. So it's like, it was good for the first one, I guess.
Call Me By Your Name, Bob.
I gotta go, guys. It's great having me. Thanks for having me again.
Great having you.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, it was great having you.
trailers
Man.
this week.
Thanks for joining us. You're always welcome to come on the show and bullshit horror movies with us.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll get to Nightmare on Elm Street with you.
I've talked about that shit long enough.
Never enough.
All right, man. I'll see y'all later.
All
All right, thank you very much, Nathan Thomas Milliner. You have a great night. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
All right, so yeah, fucking Halloween is Suspiria. Let's get on the Facebook land. Let's see what comments.
I was gonna say, does anybody
Somebody called the new Halloween movie a requel.
Yeah, Corey Thompson, a
Corey.
requel.
I like that.
I like
Amen.
Corey. He's a cool fucking dude.
Corey is the man. All right, so we're going back a little bit. What's also promising? Wait, let's go to Frankie Carter. Was Goblin on the soundtrack? No, not in the recent.
Not in the new one.
Raymond
Guy from
Brown.
Radiohead.
Yeah, Tom something.
Yeah.
All right.
Lazy Eye guy.
Raymond, lazy eye guy.
Sorry.
I wish I was
Sorry,
special,
Radiohead.
but I'm a creep. I got a lazy eye. I'm doing a Suspiria soundtrack. I don't belong here. Raymond Brown. What's also promising is that it comes out in October. Yes. That hasn't happened. Just part 6. Halloween movie needs to be in October. It's perfect. I demand that every major horror movie franchise should be released in October, whether it be Halloween or Critters.
And it's great because it's less than 2 weeks before the actual Halloween. Rather than coming out on Halloween, you don't have to worry about trying to
squeeze it in.
Yeah, you can, people will see it before Halloween, and you can still go. Because I plan on going on Halloween because I've never been able to do that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm glad it's coming out Halloween.
Recognize.
October. You're
Recognize,
son. So Corey Thompson, Mother was my favorite movie of 2017 without a doubt. I loved it. I don't know if it was my favorite movie of 2017, but it was definitely up there in the top. We'll say top 3.
I think was in my top 3 also.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Mother.
The song by
I had
Danzig.
to finish watching that, man. I bought it for $3.
Tell your children not to walk my way.
Listen, Ray, if you're looking forward to Danzig's song being in the movie, it's not in the movie. Spoiler alert, it's not in there. But
in the video return
over, you can play it. You can play the song while the credits are rolling to make your own.
I was gonna say, I'm sure there's some type of YouTube video that has that song playing over scenes of that film.
Kevin, or we already read Lonnie with Lawrence Michael Bailey's Horror Alone. I don't know. He produced a pretty good Friday the 13th movie with Jared Padalecki or whatever his name is.
Padalecki.
People like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, so I don't.
Yeah. I don't really remember them. I remember Diodario being in one of them, but that's about it.
Adrian, what is it? Alexandria Diodario.
Yeah.
Man, she's hot.
We have loved this movie and soundtrack. I guess that's talking about Suspiria. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about real quick with the soundtracks. Holy shit! Halloween and the Suspiria soundtrack, the original soundtracks, like probably in the top 5. Yeah.
They're both epic.
Yeah.
They're both epic. So which one? You're asking which one's better, you think?
I don't know. We can ask that. Those on Facebook land, if you're watching, which soundtrack do you prefer, the Halloween or the Suspiria?
I think theme song wise, John Carpenter's probably wins out popularity wise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said something earlier in my live feed that when I announced the quick Halloween sequels brackets that we're doing, that I think Halloween, based on all of our brackets and how people vote on all of our brackets, I'm starting to get the feeling that Halloween is the face of horror.
It's like
Halloween.
everybody's favorite horror movie.
Well, yeah, and everybody knows it. It's like Superman and Batman. Everybody knows who Superman and Batman are. Everybody knows who Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy are. But it seems like when you clump them together, people pick Halloween. And somebody mentioned Halloween is not only the face of horror, it's also the sound of horror, and referring to the soundtrack, which I can't disagree with that, because the Halloween theme is just as iconic, I think, as the Star Wars theme.
Mhm.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows the Halloween theme.
Once you hear it, you know it.
So many non-horror people that I know that change their ringtone in October to the Halloween theme.
Mhm.
You know, because it represents Halloween to them. It represents October. And really, I think Halloween is the face of horror. Am I wrong in thinking this?
No, not wrong at all. Like, whenever people think horror themes, there's only four. We'll say four themes that come up in their minds. You have The Exorcist, the Tubular Bells. You have the Jaws theme. You have the Psycho theme. And you have John Carpenter's Halloween theme. Those are like the four major ones. And you could argue Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't think that's as popular as those.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, it almost didn't even make it into one of the movies. So Freddy's dead. Just throw that out there. It was barely
Jason doesn't even have a theme song. Just the.
I mean, it's different in every movie.
He has a theme song, the disco theme.
Oh yeah,
which is the best. That is the best one. That is the best one.
That represents horror. Your guy's buddy Corey Thompson says Halloween, I would say, is more iconic, but Suspiria has a better atmosphere and opinion.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Lonnie, get the hell away from there. According to my wife, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. That's his full name, by the way. Lonnie, get the hell away from there. That's his full name. According to my wife, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 has the best movie soundtrack. Go Ninja Go. Go Ninja, go
Ninja, go. Vanilla Ice.
Don't forget that. Mama. Oh, that's. I don't know if that's the theme though.
It's not, but they like break into his concert. He's like, "Hey guys, there's weird ninjas running around."
Dude, man, every time I watch Ninja Turtles, I want pizza like that. I want pizza delivered to me while I'm in a sewer.
Especially the second one.
It's specific.
Especially the second one, because like the beginning of the movie is like a big advertisement for pizza, because everybody's eating that fucking giant New York slice of pizza. You know, it's like,
was it all Domino's? Did they all order Domino's? Is that the big thing?
No, it was something else. Because remember in part 2 there was a guy named Keno who drove. He was a little
he was the little kid from The Last Dragon. Keno.
Yeah.
Ernie Reyes.
Yeah, Ernie Reyes.
Ernie Reyes.
Yep.
Little kid from Last Dragon.
Domino's was the first movie.
I love The Last Dragon. Don't get me started.
I'm glad you knew the name because I was flaking on Keno. Man, you guys got it.
He's also in Surf Ninjas with Leslie Nielsen, but we can talk about that another day.
I love the God.
Dude, like 90s ninja movies were so like aimed towards kids, because I think like a little off topic, I think Canon made like the best like revenge ninja movies. And then in the 90s, we had like the Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas,
the Turtle movies,
Ninja Turtle movies. What's up?
I was gonna say off topic. Our friend Steve Carino was the one that said that when he saw the Halloween trailer, it reminded him of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. He thinks it's gonna be that kind of movie, a movie to reintroduce people to the franchise. Is what I think he's getting at, which he's not wrong.
Kind of like opening the new generation to the franchise. Yeah.
My big question. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was gonna say that's why I'm hoping that. No, I don't want to say that. I'm not hoping they replace Michael Myers, but he's fucking in his 60s now, and this is a franchise that has thrived on sequels and stayed alive on sequels. You got to think that they're not thinking just one and done. You know. Mm-hmm. I don't know what their contract says. They maybe only have the rights for one movie, though. Who knows?
My question for you guys, Facebook land. Do you think that do you think that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride's Halloween will be much more financially successful than Stephen King's It?
No.
No. Just me.
Yeah.
Facebook land, weigh in, please.
I think that's a great question. It made almost what $750 million.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. Like, you have It, which strived on nostalgia with Tim Curry, a '90s movie that everyone remembers a clown, right?
Everybody in our generation.
But you have Halloween, and everyone and their mother was sharing that trailer today.
Right.
As soon as it leaked.
You're right, and I think it got more play than the It trailer did when it came out. My question is, how did it do? How was it received? I'm looking right now, Rotten Tomatoes and all that shit, because people buy into that garbage.
Rotten Tomatoes sucks.
If Halloween is not well received from critics, then it won't. People will not go. Like Solo, for instance, there's a boycott too, but Rotten Tomatoes 85% approval rating, which is very good. 311 reviews. Where if Halloween gets like a 70, then I don't think it'll do as well, because some people do live off that.
I fucking hate that. They're just reviewers, just like we are, and they fucking determine the fate of a fucking movie.
Rotten Tomatoes is garbage.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of hype, you know, for the Halloween movie, and being produced by Blumhouse, I guarantee it'll be their highest grossing movie ever. But
yeah,
it'll
definitely do way better than Get Out for sure.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you it's going to break 500, but I don't think it's going to reach it. It might, because there's so many more fans. I don't know. I think it didn't only get nostalgia. It got Stephen King fans. It got It fans. You know, it got all the horror fans basically. I mean, every horror fan came out to go see it, except for probably Lauren Lepre, because he hates remakes.
But I will, you know, I want to be the guy who rebukes this. I want to be the one who says that I think Halloween is going to become a blockbuster, much more of a blockbuster hit than It was.
I hope so.
I hope it does.
Corey Thompson says no. Corey Thompson believes that Suspiria will gross more due to a better word of mouth. But he says the first week of Halloween will be very successful.
I don't think Suspiria is going to do as well as he's thinking. I mean, Suspiria is well known in the horror community. Halloween, like I said, Halloween is the face of horror.
Suspiria is more of a cult film to horror fans.
Suspiria will be lucky to get over 150 to 200 million in the box office.
I honestly hope both of them fucking
I do
badass.
When is Suspiria coming out anyway?
This year.
I think it said fall. The fall. It didn't have it
this year. Well, fucking Get Out only made 255 million.
They're done shooting. Unlike Halloween, which Halloween didn't do.
They did.
The rumor is that they had a test screening, and everyone who watched it did not like the ending, so they had to do reshoots.
Yep.
So I wonder what that ending was about.
I wonder if they see this. Is the thing. I wonder if it was if they did a hook ending, and maybe they decided it wasn't good for a hook, or who knows. That's a good question. I would like to know what the budget is.
Mm-hmm.
They on Wikipedia there have possible sequel. It's here we go. It says June 2018. McBride confirmed that he and Green originally had intended pitched 2 films that would be shot back to back after deciding against it and waiting to see the reaction of the first film. So I guess there's a possibility of a sequel.
I'm sure they'll want to. It'll make enough money to do a sequel.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, Blumhouse movies generally are between. I don't think they ever go over.
$5 million is what Jason Blum's his ceiling.
Right.
I'm sure he spent more money on the Halloween movie, but $5 million is usually his ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because there's been some for 10 million. Split was 9 million.
Was that a Blumhouse one?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm looking at all their stuff right now. Upgrade that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was the dude from Saw.
Lee Winnell. That was That was only $3 million.
Lee Wannell.
Yeah. I want to see. That looks cool.
Lonnie Reimer says it had all that creepy clown stuff going on around the time it came out, so that might have been the reason for its success. And
yeah,
I can see it. Yeah, because there's a lot of clown stuff going on. Like you go on Facebook, and there's like Facebook Live, like horror clowns going on live, and they're just doing their own thing, and they have like lots and lots of viewers.
It's weird,
bizarre.
We need Art the Clown to do one of those.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Get him to stand in the getting the makeup after 4-hour process. He said.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much Suspiria and Halloween like their budgets. I'm looking to see if I can find Suspiria's now because Halloween's is not showing. I bet Halloween's is much higher.
Mm-hmm.
than
I would think so.
Normal. I mean, I'm not saying Jamie Lee Curtis is at $10 million for Suspiria.
Wow.
And it's November. Oh, it comes out after Halloween.
Oh boy.
Literally.
Well, Suspiria. I think they said Suspiria is like 3 hours long. Like they're making it a really long epic.
What if they made all three of the movies together? Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be
probably do better than I keep wanting to say Grey's Anatomy, but it's 50 Shades of Grey.
I don't think any of us have seen Upgrade. I watched this show on Collider, Collider Heroes, and they talked about it last night or Thursday or whenever it was about they were raving about Upgrade. So I kind of want to see it. It looks cool. It's got a interesting idea. And have you guys heard anything about Upgrade?
No, I don't even know what the plot is.
Dude, watch the trailer. It looks pretty cool.
I heard it was really bloody.
Yeah, Suspiria's after Halloween. I don't know. I'm curious about money. I think if Halloween does over 200 million, it'll definitely get a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Suspiria, I don't think is going to do that as well. It's not as known. And there's reports that somebody in a screening was throwing up because of one of the scenes. And I keep going back to the original movie and trying to pick out the part that could, I mean, there's the part with all the, help me out, Jared. The fall from
the barbed wire?
No, that's one that I thought of. No, with the fucking, what are they, mealworms or whatever?
Yeah, there's one with bugs.
Yeah,
or dropped from the ceiling, yeah.
Yeah, I could see people being upset with that or getting kind of squeamish about that. The barbed wire scene, if that even happens, I mean, they may not do a lot of the things that they did in this. I mean, there's one thing that I really stood out to me in the trailer was they were in a field running, like a bunch of the girls, and you rarely saw them outside of the
school.
And I mean, of course, we saw, I guess, another school when they went and saw Udo Kier, or however you say his name.
Kier, yeah.
So I mean, rarely did you see him a bunch of them outside of the school.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law said something funny. He's like, I was like, how did it look? Did you because he saw it before the trailer before me. I was like, did it look like Suspiria? He's like, I saw a blind guy, so yeah, I know it's Suspiria. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that tonight. I haven't watched it in a while.
Honestly, listening to Nathan describe the movie made me want to watch Suspiria all over again.
Yeah, that's why I like having him on the show. He's got a really in-depth way of explaining things, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike Lombardo does too, but that's mostly because he's riffing the whole time. But I love Mike. I missed him. What else on Facebook here?
I agree with Corey, but I hear people puking and fainting almost every screening now. It kind of seems like a marketing ploy, and I totally agree. Look at Veronica. Fuck my life. Look at Veronica. Veronica, they're like
scariest movie.
Yeah, scariest movie of all time. And it's like I could barely watch. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't finish it. I had to turn it off. I was so scared. And then it's like the other half of the conversation. People are like, I don't like subtitles. The movie's stupid if I have to read subtitles.
Scariest
Blah.
movie. I turned it off because I can't read subtitles.
Yeah.
I'm curious about Hereditary because Chuck's seeing that right now, as is Mike, and I'm wondering, like, people are saying that one's really scary.
And that one's like a possession film, right?
Looks like it.
I remember seeing a short teaser. I don't think I've seen the actual trailer for it though.
Yeah,
It looks good.
For the other night, I don't know. I'll wait for DVD.
It's one of those movies where like it's the scariest movie since The Exorcist, and they say that like for every movie every year. Like Autopsy of Jane Doe, scariest movie since The Exorcist. Like really?
It wasn't like my son says The Exorcist is boring, but
It was a good movie.
the Autopsy of Jane Doe was great, and I tell you what, I watched it by myself. Lights off, and it works. Okay, I don't get scared by horror movies generally anymore, but that movie had me like, ugh, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like towards the end, it had plot holes, and I was trying to figure out. Maybe I have to watch it a second time. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh, "This movie's really good." And then like the last 20 minutes, I'm like, "Hell, okay, sure."
Yeah, the last 20 minutes kind of starts getting a little more off the wall, but I don't know. I liked it. That's another one of those movies, just like The Lords of Salem, that I like the bulk of the movie, but towards the end it started losing me. You know, especially Lords of Salem. That movie got really fucking weird at the end.
I love that movie. And no, I agree. It did get really weird at the end. But the ending, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that movie sucked." It's like, do we watch the same movie? I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great, but yeah, the ending was kind of weird. I know they have a book that explains a little bit more in depth of what happened at the end, which is pretty cool. If you don't want to get the book, there's Wikipedia. It's one of the greatest tools to have if you're trying to do some research on a time constraint. But I really am looking forward to Suspiria and Halloween. I think that they're going to be, they're going to be fucking great. We have, we have a whole horror community who just gets bamboozled by all these Marvel movies, all of these remakes, which, let's just say, even though these movies are pretty much a sequel and a remake, there looks like there's a lot of heart put into it. I think that the horror community would accept remakes more if they weren't so fucking half-assed. I
think we're getting past that point, Brian.
Yeah, because
I think we're starting to get past that point. I think their studios are learning with Nightmare on Elm Street and some of these other remakes that it's, you know what, we can't do this. This isn't going to work for us because they're not profitable,
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. If you piss off horror fans, nobody's going to go see the damn movie.
Yeah. Look at comic book fans. You make a DC Comics makes the whole entire movie franchise, and people don't shut the hell up during the movies. But you know what? People still buy the movies. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with Halloween, excuse me, this is going to be a big test. Mm-hmm. And if Halloween, it's going to be just like.
Oh, we're wearing hats now. Hold on, keep going.
I think it's going to be. You don't need a Band-Aid. Hold on.
Everybody's left all at once.
No, I'm my daughter says she they don't realize that Band-Aids are made for when something's bleeding. They think it's when anything hurts. Anyway, Jesus. No, I'll help you in a minute. Just what I didn't want to do. Anyway, I think in 1978 we saw Halloween come out, and there was a rash of movies that, slasher movies and movies named off of holidays. I don't think we're going to see that, but I think other studios are going to be like, okay, well, this made a ton of money, and this is what I'm kind of actually hoping for. This made a ton of money. Let's go ahead and check out Friday the 13th again. Let's fix this. Let's get this worked out. And then a couple years later, we'll see another Nightmare on Elm Street, and maybe a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That will be another remake would be fine for me for that, because there's no way the last two movies were a sequel and a prequel to the original movie, and they were poorly done. And then, so you may as well remake it because the remake is too far gone, and that took place anyway. I think that if Halloween does well, and just like it is bringing more horror films back to the theater, is what I think.
I agree.
And I think if Halloween does well, we're going to start seeing more of these older horror films that are being remade, or they're going to do long sequels. You can do a Nightmare on Elm Street at any point without having to fucking remake it, because it all takes place in the dream world for the most part, all in Springwood, and there. I'm looking at my collection. I guarantee we're going to start seeing some of these movies rehashed or redone or late sequels, and they're doing that a lot anyway, doing sequels that take place years later. Band-Aids cure everything. I think that your brother, Josh Letourneau.
Is that my brother?
And Morgan's mom says, "Give the baby girl a Band-Aid." It's a witch. This is why
Brian's got his hat on now.
I got my hat. If those who are watching, they want to know what kind of hat I'm wearing. Here we go. This is an alien hat. We got Weyland-Yutani Corporation over here. A couple other placards from the Nostromo. And then on the back it says Alien. Because I'm not a sports guy.
You got a big head, dude.
I do.
The snapback is on the last tab.
Yes, it is. I have a huge noggin.
Well, mine's
you know
just
what they say about people with big
just a Royal Spring Training hat. My brother's watching, so. But when you were gone, Ray was just talking about the possibilities of franchise changes if Halloween actually does well. Like how much Friday the 13th is going to jump into the game and how much Nightmare on Elm Street might jump back into the game if Halloween does well.
I really don't want to see Halloween as a franchise again. And I really hate to be that guy. I'm really stoked that we're getting a Halloween movie. Like
I want it to do well, though.
Yeah, I want it to do really fucking awesome, and I want it to be one time. I don't want it to be an ongoing thing. It just seems, I don't know, like we have all these different concepts coming out. It's like I don't understand why we need sequels to these great movies that are coming out. And if we do get sequels, let's revive the movies from the past that had pretty shitty sequels, and let's just kill it while it's good. I'm really looking forward to the Halloween movie, and I hope it's that like I Spit on Your Grave type revenge horror movie that we saw in the trailers, and then just end it. But I really don't want to see it turn into a franchise. I don't, unless they make a sequel to Halloween 3, which would be fucking cool.
I'd be all over a sequel to that. Tom Atkins is,
You don't need Tom Atkins to make a sequel. Why don't they remake?
I know. He's still alive. As like I feel like he should be in it somehow.
Well, I mean, I didn't hear anything that you guys were saying, but
he was just saying. I basically brought him up to speed. What you were talking about. Yeah. If Halloween does well, all the other franchises are going to jump in. But Brian was saying he doesn't want Halloween to turn into another franchise.
I bet it does. And that's why I keep thinking, how are they going to do it as with Michael Myers being so old? There's something to be said about the Suspiria movie that it looks like they're trying to keep it based back in the 70s possibly, because it does not look like it's modern, which is good. Which I think is good anyway. But
I couldn't tell either way.
With Halloween 3, no, I think the modern world we live in today is less scary than any horror movie, or is more scary than any horror movie. You know, and then, or not, I don't know how to say it, but there's so many ways of getting out of situations now.
Thanks a lot, Trump.
Yeah, thanks, Trump. What? Anyway, let me get back to Halloween 3.
Oh, okay. I know what you guys are saying now.
They could do a sequel to Halloween 3.
I was like, wait. Oh, okay.
They could do a sequel to Halloween 3.
He wasn't going political, but I just went with it.
Thanks for bringing that up again. Now I gotta delete you off my friends list. No. Halloween 3. Okay, maybe I'll get through this. They could make a sequel, and this is something I think they should be doing with the Purge movies because they're not that good. Is set them in different places.
How dare you?
You don't like those movies, do you?
I love Anarchy. Election was cool. The first Purge was okay, but Anarchy is my favorite.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this first Purge is going to be like. But like, all I'm saying is, you could go to another place and still be in the same time frame, you know, and it would be after the events because even though Tom Atkins may have gotten through to all 3 stations, there's still going to be a lot of people dying, and just because that one kid reacted with all the insects coming out of his mask doesn't mean that's how they all react. You know, like, who knows what could happen? Oh
man, that would be cool.
How cool would it be though if you had like this like post-apocalyptic wasteland, and the only like survivors were like, you know, kind of like Michael Lombardo's movie, I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday, but like, you know, there's the food is scarce, and you have some type of epidemic, but you have to like battle all of these outdated robots that the Silver Shamrock Corporation made that still exist. Even though
androids, yeah,
and like they just hunt you because their mission is over. Like, you know, trying to like bring in the New World Order. New World Order is here, so all they want to do is just hunt down humans like the last survivors. And maybe they develop like this AI where like they think they're the superior race. Like, there's so many ways that like Halloween 3.
This sounds like it could be a Terminator Halloween 3 crossover. Like Cyberdyne bought Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, the events of what happened.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about the Halloween 3 like androids is they seppuku themselves. Like, if once they're done their mission, they like either set themselves on fire or just like, you know, old-fashioned early stages Japanese samurai and jab a sword into them and fucking seppuku themselves, like, you know, in front of everybody. Like, I think, you know, the T-1000s would never do that. They just want to continue to take over the world. But that would be cool if the androids from Silver Shamrock Corporation were like trying to take over the world still.
Yeah, we don't know how big their reach is either, the Silver Shamrock Corporation, you know, because that guy's he's a witch, and it's you know, this has been going on for a long time. It sounded like, I don't know. There's some there could be a prequel to Halloween 3, you know.
How he gets a hold of the fucking rock.
Yeah. I mean, may not be as interesting, but bring Connell Cochran back. And, you know, I just wanted to show off before we get too far that if you wanted to get Suspiria, I had to take it out because it's reversible, but get this is the Synapse release. The art is done by Joel Robinson, which I have the t-shirt for, and it's got the
original one.
It's like $27 on Amazon right now, but it's worth it. It is phenomenal sounding, and it looks terrific.
Joel is one of my favorite people to talk to, man.
Yeah, Joel's cool. I'll be seeing him hopefully at Days of the Dead. I'm sure I'll run into him. Lonnie Reimer.
Shit, maybe we can get him on the show sometime.
I'm sure we could. Lonnie, get your ass away from there, says they will make another Halloween movie. If this one does good by having Michael bone a crazy chick in the nut house and make Michael Jr. who wears the Spock mask.
What?
Yeah. Why not just take every Star Trek mask and spray paint it white and just make a family out of it?
Scotty mask. Why not the Scotty mask?
Yeah.
Or George Takei, fucking what's his name?
Sulu.
Sulu, yeah.
What's the Russian guy's name? Anybody remember?
Chekhov.
Yeah.
I
can't do it, Captain. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty funny, Lonnie.
That's one of the things I'm surprised they haven't tackled with Halloween is a copycat Michael Myers. I mean, maybe it's because they learned from Friday the 13th. You know, getting shit on part 5. I thought part 5 was one of the better chapters in it. It was something
definitely
different.
one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, people bitch about making Friday the 13th different, but when they make it different, like Friday the 13th 5 and Jason Goes to Hell, then they bitch about it's too different. It's a copycat, but that was cool, and it was also like the first movie, you know, because it was a whodunit. And why not do that with Michael? I thought Michael was locked up. I thought Michael was dead. Whatever. Oh no, it's somebody, some crazed person. Maybe that guy who takes the mask, the English guy who's showing Michael the mask, maybe he carries on the legacy. Maybe Michael spares him, and he thinks that's the reason why Michael spared him, was to carry on.
I don't know, man.
What's his motivation? Why is Michael Myers going back to Haddonfield for something that happened 40 fucking years ago?
How did he get caught?
Well, who knows? That's why I asked the question to one of our viewers. I wonder where this movie's going to start, because they have got a lot to recap. Like, how did he get caught? Exactly, Brian. Like he, at the end of the movie, you see that he left a spot on the lawn.
He falls out the window.
Yeah, and he's gone. And Dr. Loomis is like, oh shit. And where did he go? I mean, that's why I love Halloween 2, because you see where he went. And this one, you find out 40 years later that they caught him down the street.
Don't you think that Halloween 2, though, they didn't make him human? They kind of made him more like supernatural ish, or like, you know, human strength, because I don't know. I guess it all goes with how Bob dies in Halloween, where he gets stabbed with a knife and he just sticks to the wall, and Mike Myers is standing there staring at him like, did that just happen? All right, well, carry on. Like, I mean,
die that way.
I don't know about part 2. I mean, he does like headbutt a plate glass door and then bust right through that. I don't think anybody can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't like Halloween 2, but out of all the sequels, I thought it was my favorite one. I didn't like the sequel. Like, H2O was okay. I liked it because it was like, all right, we wrapped it up. But Resurrection, they're like, oh, it was a copycat. That wasn't the real Mike Myers. Mike
They
Myers
made a lot of money off H2O. They could have just ended the whole series with H2O, and that would have been a good way to end it.
I agree.
But no, we gotta get Busta Rhymes in there.
Well, yeah, we have to add social media into it and kill Laurie Strode in a weird fucking way.
Now, if you watch the trailer, which will be playing on VHS at midnight tonight in the group page, VHS Midnight, when I watched the trailer for Resurrection, the trailer will be in the VHS Midnight. I won't tell you what movies are playing, but in the trailer itself for Resurrection, Laurie Strode doesn't come in until the very end of the trailer. It makes it look like all these people are being hunted, and the only person left to take down Mike Myers is Laurie Strode. Which, when you watch the movie, they kill off Laurie Strode, and it's bullshit. Which is probably why Halloween Resurrection had such a demise.
Well,
but you got.
No, you finished before I jump in and spew out what I'm going to say.
Well, no, it's probably the reason why Halloween Resurrection had such a demise, because you killed off a loved character. And this is like the beginning of horror movies where they're like, what if we make this decision? What will be the effect of it? It was cause and effect. We kill off Laurie Strode. The fans were not happy. And this is before you had the internet was around, but, you didn't have all these social media websites like Facebook and MySpace to talk about yet. But now you have the wonderful world of the internet, where everyone's opinions, are considered, but the points don't matter. It's just like, whose line is it anyway? So you have all these opinions coming out, and they make or break what happens to the rest of the franchise, because the people creating it can hear these voices and listen to everyone's comments and opinions. But Resurrection failed because it killed off a loved main character early on. They learned from the mistake, and here they are. When did Resurrection come out? 1998?
No, it was 2002.
Was it 2002? Okay. So you have almost 20 years of Halloween movies not existing until the recent David Gordon Green and Danny McBride with John Carpenter. So
remakes. Halloween in 07, 09.
Are you asking me to count those?
No, I'm just no. We've had Halloween movies.
No, I completely understand. And you know what, Rob Zombie, I loved Rob Zombie when I was a kid. I loved his music. I loved White Zombie. I loved House of Thousand Corpse and The Devil's Rejects, and I loved The Lord of Salem. The Halloween movies were okay with me. And I'm only saying that because Rob Zombie came in with like this really snarky attitude that the original John Carpenter movie sucked. And I'm not saying this through word of mouth. I was there for a Malcolm McDowell a press interview at one of the conventions at Monster Mania, where he said, Rob Zombie said the Halloween movies sucked and the Dr. Loomis character was portrayed poorly and wanted Malcolm McDowell to make it his own. So that is my only issue with Halloween. Even though John Carpenter has made friends with Rob Zombie and said, oh, it's all water under the bridge or whatever. They both came out making a lot of money, so of course it's fucking water under the bridge. But where do the fans go with that when they hear things such as, the original Halloween movie sucked and Dr. Loomis was portrayed poorly? It kind of, I don't know, it affected me in a way. How I felt, because I love Halloween.
There's a great YouTube video, and the guy made only two videos, and then he dropped the mic, basically. One was how the 2007 Rob Zombie Halloween remake killed the franchise, and he talked about how much Rob Zombie hated Halloween, and why was he the choice to make a Halloween movie if he hated it so much. And then the other one is how Jason Goes to Hell killed the franchise, which is even better. I suggest watching those because they're really good. But what I wanted to comment about Resurrection and Michael Myers and the whole point of that movie was a cash grab. They wanted to make another Michael Myers movie. Mustafa Akkad, the guy who financed all of the movies. They wanted to make another movie. They just wanted to keep making Halloween movies no matter what. But my whole problem was Michael Myers' drive in the second movie. We find out his drive is to kill his family, his sister, and then when we find Laurie's dead in 4, the whole drive becomes to kill his niece. Because I watched 4 last night. You watch in the ambulance. They said that that she's a ward of the state because she's underage, and he clenches his fist, and that's when he decides to wake up from his coma, and miraculously he can walk, even though he's been laying there for 10 years. But anyway, so his whole drive is to kill family, and even Rob Zombie's movies made a point to show that it's all about family. And then you get to Resurrection, he kills Laurie finally. It's over. But the other thing is, where's her son that he knows about now from H2O? But then he goes back to Haddonfield to live in his house in the basement and eat dog, and then so he's protecting his house. It was just a shitty movie, a shitty premise. The one thing I've always wanted to see happen, and I did this after I saw Halloween Resurrection, and what a train wreck it was, because I kept saying, where do they go from here? Me and my brother sat down one night and wrote out a whole treatment for Halloween. I guess it would have been 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it was merging the timelines, the Jamie Lloyd and the H2O timeline together, and bringing characters from Halloween 6 and Halloween H2O together into the series. Because I really like it. I like Halloween 6, and I like Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, and I would like to see more of that. And so we figured out a way to do that and made this whole story. I'm not going to bore people with my Halloween story, but it was we were very happy with it.
You'll have to send it to me. I need to check it out.
The producer's cut really fleshed the story out really well.
Huh?
The producer's cut of number 6 helped flesh the story out better.
Yeah, but the end sucked.
The ending did suck.
Yeah, because they trapped him with rocks.
Rocks!
Okay, we got more stuff here. Corey, thanks for watching with us the whole time. He said, I really, really liked the zombie reimagining. I'll tell you what, You know why I didn't like it? I liked the Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis is my favorite character, but I hated they spent too much time on Michael Myers' backstory. They gave him a fucking face. They gave him a reason. I hated that. In the original movie, they didn't do any of that shit.
They
He
gave
just
him
killed his
sympathy.
sister for some reason and came back to town and tried to kill Laurie Strode and kill all her friends. They didn't have an abusive fucking stepdad or whatever. His mom wasn't a stripper. His sister wasn't a fucking bitch to him. You know, he was bullied in school. They never showed any of that. And Rob Zombie ruined Michael Myers, the shape, by doing all that garbage. It was garbage. I hate that movie. I hate both of them. I do. I hate them both because he gave Michael Myers a reason. The whole fucking point and the whole thing, he was the boogeyman. He was scary because he was just there to kill people. He had reason to do it in the remake.
That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this movie.
I like the
because-
fucking off the rails.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this new one coming out, that he's the boogeyman again. He's got no relationship with anybody, and you have Laurie Strode preparing her for 40 years because he murdered her friends and traumatized her to a point where she probably had a mental breakdown and probably had to seek therapy. And
I'm going to be stabbing mannequins for 40 years.
stabbing mannequins. And she holds a gun with one hand. Ballin', okay? That's pretty boss ass bitch level. And I cannot wait to see Rambo Laurie Strode. But I get what you're saying, Ray. The thing about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies is that it did go back into a lot of the story. It was very 1970s Dirty Larry, Crazy Mary, or whatever, like hillbilly, like bullshit.
Right, Rob Zombie did. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, he Rob Zombie did, and you know what? That's why I won't go into it, but that's why I liked Lords of Salem, because it wasn't really like hillbilly. It was kind of like its own thing. But like he really devil's rejected the entire Halloween movies, and then the second Halloween a lot of people don't like. I actually thought the second Rob Zombie Halloween movie was better than the first. But don't shoot me for that opinion, because I know everyone.
You're a weird taste in movies.
I have a really weird taste in movies.
You really do, though.
No, but you know what? I saw the unrated director's cut of Halloween 2, and I liked where he went with that. I liked all like the psychedelic, like the acid trip scenes and everything like that. Where
that's
she's
what got me. Those were just over the top.
Yeah, and I get it, and it's also the Rob Zombie White Zombie fan of me, because that's all his like music videos are about, and like his cartoons and everything. Like, it just, you know, just all those dream sequences. I'm a sucker for like David Lynch movies and dream sequences and its surrealism of movies, and I like when I see directors use surrealism to kind of like mind fuck the viewer into thinking of what is the actual plot. I can put this together. Give me a minute. I can put this together. Like, that's what worked for me. Like, I'm not saying that Rob Zombie is like on the same level as Alejandro Jodorowsky or David Lynch, but I'm saying that when you have like those like mind fuck scenes and you have to like piece it together and figure out what's going on, I really appreciate those, and that's what works. That's why I preferred Halloween 2, if that makes any sense.
I was just thinking about Twin Peaks and how it's
Jodorowsky,
that show. Then all of a sudden they go into that room, the Velvet Room or whatever it is with the midget.
Oh, the Black Lodge.
Oh, where he's like walking around.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
he cracks his knuckles.
We got some more comments on the Rob Zombie stuff.
I know people are going to castrate me for liking Halloween 2 better than.
Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Reimer says Rob Zombie makes good music but shit movies. I think he makes good original movies, except for 31. I couldn't even get through that.
31 was garbage.
Corey said, I get shit for it, but that was why I liked Rob's movie. I know that he made the shape of face or personality, but I like the backstory. Yeah, sometimes he does good. The backstory in Lords of Salem was fantastic.
Yeah.
Bill Ridgely says, I thought the first remake was entertaining. The second one couldn't get all the way through. I'm guilty of that too. Frankie's a good friend of mine, and he's also the man behind Barlow's Boutique, and he's doing a little podcast on his own. It's a one-man show. Barlow's Boutique is what it's called.
What?
That's fucking awesome. I want to watch it.
He did like an 8-minute video breaking down the trailer and his thoughts. And Frankie, man, he's deep into horror, deep.
Sweet. I didn't know he was doing something like that. That's
yeah,
cool.
he just started it a couple days ago. He's basically in his horror room talking about horror, and that's it, man. That's cool. I watched both episodes, and I got a kick out. I love Frankie. Love his masks too. Frankie, but he says, wish it would have been a different character than Michael, and those movies would work. I agree with that. If they weren't Halloween movies, they would have been great. That's what I think. And then Corey says, Halloween 2 had me screaming at the TV in a bad way.
I agree, Corey.
Yeah. So with that, go check out Frankie's. It's on YouTube. His YouTube channel is fcart73, and check out. He's got 2 videos. He's got videos and playing music too on his page. Go check that out. Go subscribe. Go subscribe to our page too.
Fuck. Yeah, might as well. Fuck.
Cool. Jesus.
This is why we work so well together. We don't always agree on horror films, guys.
Yeah.
We're always open to discussions, and
plus we're getting a lot of interaction, which I really love, even though it's fucking Lonnie all the time.
No, man. Like, I love our interaction. I look forward to doing a show with you guys every Friday night. I know we have a lot of guests lined up too, which is really exciting to hear about different projects and different point of views and everything.
Yeah.
Especially having like open Q&As the entire episode. Like, how many podcasts can you go on and just blurt out whatever the hell you want to write, and then have it being like received by us, and we exploit your message that you give us forever in eternity on social media.
Yeah.
And
I would say 80% of them. I would say 80% of the podcasts are filmed and then edited, or at least recorded and then edited.
Ours are straight live. We're straight plugging it.
We are live and unplugged, fuckers.
We are gonzo.
I love the
gonzo
like this, but yeah, we're gonna have we may as well talk about some of the guests we have lined up. Like there's a movie with the trailer and Mike Lombardo did a review. It's called Lunch Lady. It's a short.
Oh my god!
The writer Clarissa Jacobson, I think is her name. She'll be on next week.
And I watched that last night.
Did you? The movie?
It was great.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
Fucking great. It was only 20 minutes long.
Because it hasn't been released yet.
It's only 20 minutes long. That's all I'm going on.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
We have Troy Escamilla, who did Party Night and Stirring. Stirring is doing the circuit right now. He and Mike won awards at Scream was Crimson. And I think he won Best Film, and Mike won Best Director. And they're both Christmas films. And then we're lining up. We're thinking July 13th. We're going to bring Vincent DeSante back from Never Hike Alone, and he's going to be joined with the director, creator of Spirit of Haddonfield, which is a Halloween short, and their trailer drops on Monday.
Is that Renee Rivera?
No, it's Rivas.
Rivas.
Yeah,
Renee Rivas.
I talked to him on the phone the other day. Super cool dude. He's worried about being timid on the show, but I was like, man, once you get into talking, it's fine. Because Milliner was the same way. He was, I think, because he calls himself an introvert, which I don't think he is. If you pay attention to his Facebook page, but Facebook is a different world. But
friendly.
Yeah, and I'd like to get some. You know, what would be fun is to get some of our followers. Like maybe get your ass away from there on the show. Maybe bring Frankie on for a show. I think that'd be fun.
Like fan guests.
Yeah, we were gonna have our buddy Chuck on, but he forgot that it was tonight and went and saw Hereditary instead. He better write a good fucking review too.
What a wiener! Yeah, it better be a good movie.
Yeah.
Chuck actually says
Chuck's on right now.
I dropped the ball in tonight's show, but he says that the show would have been a lot more fun than Hereditary.
Oh my god!
Joe originally says, "Start plugging those guests. We need more notice." Thank you, Joe. Bonnie Reimer, I was watching Redneck Zombies last night, and it was a better movie than anything Rob Zombie has done. I agree. I love Redneck Zombies. It's so good.
Chuck, can you come on now for a little bit? We got some time, don't we?
It's 11 o'clock.
No, for you it's 11 o'clock. Well, how much time do you got left?
Maybe 10 or 15. How much do you need, Bri?
I just want to get Chuck on here and do an exclusive, hot off the press quick review of Hereditary.
Brian's working it. He's working it in his brain. What do you need?
I know he's got something coming up at midnight.
If Chuck can do it, Chuck,
something's coming up.
Chuck, I'm giving you 5 minutes. I'm not home yet. So
you're not home yet. Are you watching this while driving, Chuck?
Dude,
You already broke your foot this year.
no watching while driving. Bad
And
boy.
of course, Corey Thompson says Twin Peaks. So exciting! I
On the
love Twin
toilet
Peaks.
right now. Chuck.
Chuck is
A little
pooping
bit.
right now. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It was a great pleasure to have Nathan Thomas Milliner on the show as well with Mike Lombardo and discuss Halloween and Suspiria. Don't forget, we have our T-shirts and beanies for the heads on sale on our website at thehorrorsyndicate.com for all of you avid Horror Syndicate fans who've been with us since the very beginning or has joined us later on in life. We love you, and we will support anything you do. Just give us a like or a share and a follow. That's all we ask. And, you know, just keep hanging out with us every Friday night. We always want to bring the best in the horror world of the best fully interactive horror show, horror podcast that we can offer for you, from fans to fans. You know, that's our motto. We're for the fans, by the fans, because we are fans. So my name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright, or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Jew. You will see me. I will also be at the NJ HorrorCon in September. There will be special guests such as Dee Snyder, Elvira, and many, many more. So I will be there with Chuck and Jenny from the Horror Syndicate. So we'll actually have a live exclusive, and we'll be doing our full Q&A during the convention at some point at the time. And yeah, we hope to be fully interactive with y'all. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we follow you?
I wanted to piggyback what you were saying about our shop. Like, Razor put a lot of time into putting our shop up onto the website. We have multiple colors of hoodies, multiple colors of t-shirts, and Brian said we have beanies now also, which are fucking awesome looking.
They're
So
embroidered.
pick one up. What?
They're embroidered. They're not the screen print. They're actually embroidered onto the head.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it from the man themselves. They are stitched into the beanie. These are rare. These are custom made, guys. So anything you guys want will help our Horror Syndicate out immensely. But thanks for joining us tonight. You guys can always find me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on Twitter at zombie_survivor. Tonight was a fun night, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I had a blast. And of course, our president and Fuhrer, Razor. Ray, where can we find you, man?
On Twitter, if you want, it's just usually retweets from the Horror Syndicate, but it's at Razor_33. In 2 weeks, I will be at Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, walking around with my Horror Syndicate shirt on, looking for PJ Starks. Some of the guests that'll be there. If anybody wants to come out and find me, I will be wearing the shirt. Brian, show me your shirt. Jared, show me your shirt. I'll be wearing that shirt. But you know, people like Sid Haig, Bill Mosley's going to be there dressed as Chop Top. Just announced today, Vinnie Vincent from Vinnie Vincent Invasion is going to be there. Most of the cast of Dream Warriors will be there, including Heather Langenkamp. Brian, did you know there are going to be 4 people from Twin Peaks there?
4. Who's going to be there from Twin
Ray
Peaks?
Wise, Cheryl Lee, Harry Goaz, I guess, and Kimberly Robertson. Which
Wow.
Cheryl Lee, I'm absolutely going to go see because I love. She didn't do much in the first season, but Laura Palmer, I'm in love with her, even though she dies. That's not a spoiler; it happens immediately.
First 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then PJ Souls, who I've always wanted to meet, is going to be there. So I'm pretty stoked about this con. Days of the Dead's a good time, and if anybody's in the area of Indianapolis or anywhere within the driving distance, come out to see me. I'll be there on Saturday only, and I fucking love horror cons. They're the best. So, and just Brian's going to be in NJ in September. Got to get Jared to some of these cons. We're trying to do one in Kansas City. Me and Jared, I'm going to hopefully come down there and go to one, and then he's going to fucking come to Horror Hound. Okay, that was long-winded. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for the for Joe Ridgely, Lonnie Reimer, Corey Thompson, Chuck Ransford, Frankie Carter, Who else do we have that watch the show? We have Director of Dark Military, Lauren Lepre. We have Kevin Marilat. Thank you for getting on.
Josh Laterno.
Raymond Brown, Josh Laterno, of course, Jennifer Pence joining us late. Say hi to Gene for me. Okay, hi, Gene.
He's going to be at Days of the Dead.
B to the G.
All right, so you guys have a great night, and we will see you next Friday with Clarissa Jacobson, right?
I think that's, from Lunch Ladies. Check out the review.
All right, have a good night, everybody, and be safe.
Can't wait to talk about that.
All right.
All right, we're stopped.